We need to talk. As far as update videos go, I think that might be probably the most cliche way that I've started one. But I wanted to talk a little bit about where I've been and where I intend on going, and I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible while still saying everything that I need to say. I've tried making this video a couple of times and I've left it as vague as possible, but unfortunately that just doesn't quite get the point across that I'm trying to make. I know that there's not going to be a lot of people that see this video, but there's a couple of people in my personal life that kind of loosely follow my YouTube, and I'm hoping that this video will pop up and they'll understand where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to say. About 5 months ago or so, back in July, I met a friend, and about a month later, I tried something and it didn't work, and I learned a lot about that. To this day, probably one of the most, I don't want to say like devastating losses because nobody died, but I mean, when you stop being friends with somebody, you lose them. And it being such a short amount of time really proved to me just how much of an impact somebody can have on you. And to be frank, it destroyed me. I left that feeling like something was somehow taken from me, whether it would have been choice, identity, um, I don't know, but I spent the next 3 months, it's been now, trying to find that part of me that I had lost. And I think that part of me will always exist with that person. I gave them something that I couldn't even give to myself, and I never got it back. I think it's something that we can all relate to when you meet somebody that is just, I guess, everything that you want. It's hard to begin to move on. But I try to be optimistic about it because, you know, that should be proof to me that it is out there. It does exist. Um, and, I found it once, I could find it again. I really can't explain why it affected me in such a profound way. I, I don't know. They were. I have a million words, and I've played it all out in my head over and over again several hundred times, and I've already written thousands of words that they are never going to hear. And when you're working these things out, you begin to realize that, maybe the way that you see the world, or maybe you did something wrong, or I don't know. But the main reason I'm making this video is because in the devastation of that, in the aftermath, I had lost parts of myself that I had identified with them, parts of myself that they in their lives had a lot of what I have in mind. And because of that, I identified it with it. And when it was gone, I no longer had it. They made videos, so I couldn't make videos. They write, so I can't write. And in the midst of that, my most difficult struggle was music. For those of you who don't know, I do make music. I pursue it anonymously. Since this video is going on the internet, I'm sure somebody will. I'm not Vessel, by the way. I'm not not Vessel. Um, I'm sure somebody will. I mean, we learned the lesson from them. Somebody will figure it out eventually. And I just want to say, as a really quick note, this identity and the identity that I've created, they cannot coexist in the same world. In order for that to work, they cannot coexist, and that's why I pursue it anonymously because I'm trying to build something. Anyways, it's very hard for me to move forward, is what I'm trying to say. And as optimistic as I am, and as I try to take away all the lessons that it has given me, it's still haunting, and it still looms over me, and it will sit with me, and that person will sit with me probably for a very long time. And I have gone through the majority of that grieving process. Again, nobody died, but you know, psychologically, you do grieve somebody when you lose um, a friendship, and it's hard for me to come back to YouTube and to come back to streaming. It's hard for me to go back to school. It's hard for me because, you know, I feel like those things aren't mine anymore. But what I do want to say is that in the midst of all of that, I've always wanted to become a psychiatrist. I've always wanted to go to school. I've always wanted to learn about the brain as much as I can because I think the way that I inherently see disorders and the brain and mental health is just different than the world does, and I want to somehow show people how I view it, and I think that will fix a lot of the bad problems in our world. And for a very long time, that was one of my only sole purposes in life. And I'm happy to tell you now that that is something that I am going to continue to pursue while doing music on the side. Well, it's more like I'm doing this on the side and music full time, but that's just because I like torturing myself and starving, I guess. Um, but I wanted to say two more things. One, as I've gone through life, simultaneously my pain and my suffering and my stress has gone up simultaneously with my capacity to deal with it, and I feel like I'm getting a bit of an advantage now. I feel like the line is kind of sloping up. But the amount of pain is more than I've experienced in my life. I just have the tools necessary to deal with it that I didn't have before. And the other thing I wanted to say was that I will be pursuing the psychology, the mental health, and the brain route on my other channel, shameless plug. I can't do this channel anymore. At least for the time being, I can't. I can't stream. I can't do this YouTube video. Even making this video was incredibly difficult. But I still need to accomplish that goal that I have, and so I will be creating videos on another channel, um, and I'm also, this will be the very first time that anybody hears about this announcement. I will be starting a podcast where, again, I haven't put the details together yet, so don't get your hopes up, but I will be starting a podcast where I interview professionals in the world of mental health and psychology, and we're going to talk about various topics. And if that seems like something that you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments because I'm trying to get a head count of, I guess, who would be interested in that versus, I don't know, a podcast about just like talking about mental health in general. But I like the science side of it, so I'll probably do a little mix of both. But this video is already 10 minutes. I'm not monetized, so I'm not going to get mid-roll ads. So I will see you guys. I would love to upload on this channel again. I just don't see it happening in the foreseeable future. And so this is my goodbye to you.